Today we are going to talk about a development that has sent shockwaves across the Middle East, South Asia, and beyond. A development that some are calling historic, others are calling dangerous, and many are saying could reshape the entire balance of power in the Muslim world. I am talking about the defense pact signed between Saudi Arabia and nuclear-armed Pakistan. For decades, the two countries have been close allies. Their relationship has been built on shared religion, culture, economic cooperation, and military ties. Saudi Arabia has often come to Pakistan's rescue during times of financial crisis, whether by providing oil on easy terms, giving loans, or offering billions of dollars in aid. In return, Pakistan has been there for Saudi Arabia whenever security was at stake. Pakistani troops have helped guard the holy sites of Mecca and Medina. Saudi officers have trained under Pakistani military leadership, and time and again, both sides have carried out joint military exercises. But what has happened now takes this partnership to an entirely new level. On the 17th of September 2025 in Riyadh, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif signed what is officially called the Strategic Mutual Defense Agreement. At its heart is one powerful line: an act of aggression against one will be considered an act of aggression against both. In other words, if Saudi Arabia is attacked, Pakistan is obligated to respond. If Pakistan is attacked, Saudi Arabia is obligated to respond. This is no longer just a friendly understanding, no longer just informal cooperation. This is a formal, binding, mutual defense pact. Now, the agreement does not directly mention nuclear weapons, but the very fact that Pakistan is the only Muslim country with nuclear capability changes the meaning of this pact completely. Saudi Arabia may not have nuclear weapons of its own, but by joining hands with Pakistan, it is signaling to the world that it has a nuclear-armed ally ready to stand by its side. Some media outlets are already calling this a nuclear umbrella for Riyadh. And while both governments avoid that wording, the political message is loud and clear: Saudi Arabia is no longer standing alone. Why now? The timing is no coincidence. The Middle East today is more unstable than it has been in decades. Israel's continuing aggression in Gaza and beyond, the escalation of conflict involving Qatar, the never-ending Palestinian crisis, and Iran's expanding influence across the region have all combined to put Saudi Arabia in a very difficult position. Add to that the uncertainty about the role of the United States. For decades, Washington was seen as the ultimate guarantor of Gulf security. But in recent years, Riyadh has begun to doubt whether America will always be willing or able to step in. So the Saudis have decided to strengthen their own hand by signing this pact with Pakistan. For Saudi Arabia, the benefits are obvious. First, it now enjoys a much stronger sense of security. Any aggressor must think twice, knowing that an attack on Riyadh is effectively an attack on Islamabad, and that could involve a nuclear-armed response. Second, the pact helps balance against Iran and Israel, the two regional powers that worry Riyadh the most. And third, domestically, the Saudi leadership can reassure its people that the kingdom is taking bold steps to protect the Holy Land and guarantee national defense. For Pakistan, too, the agreement brings major gains. After years of political instability and economic troubles, this pact once again places Pakistan at the center of global attention. It reestablishes Islamabad as a key player in the Muslim world, not just diplomatically but militarily. The deal is also expected to bring financial benefits, with Saudi investments, defense cooperation, and loans that Pakistan desperately needs. And finally, the agreement strengthens Pakistan's image as the nuclear shield of the Ummah, the protector of Muslim lands and a reliable ally for the kingdom. But as with every major move in geopolitics, the picture is not all rosy. There are serious risks and challenges for both countries. For Pakistan, the biggest question is whether it can afford this commitment. Its economy is weak, burdened by debt and IMF programs. Its military is already stretched thin, with challenges on the eastern border with India and on the western border with Afghanistan. If Saudi Arabia faces a real military conflict, can Pakistan realistically send troops, resources, or even consider nuclear involvement without putting its own defense at risk? For Saudi Arabia, too, the risks are significant. By formally tying its security to Pakistan, it is also indirectly tying itself to Pakistan's rivalries. India will be watching closely. Riyadh has worked hard to build trade and diplomatic ties with New Delhi, but this pact could complicate that balance. Iran, on the other hand, is certain to see the deal as a hostile move, and it may respond by pushing its nuclear program harder or by increasing pressure through its allies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. And Israel, of course, will see this as a dangerous development. A nuclear-armed Pakistan formally linked to Saudi Arabia's defense. The international community is also reacting with caution. The United States, the European Union, And international bodies like the IAEA will demand clarity about whether this pact violates nuclear non-proliferation rules. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT, strictly prohibits nuclear weapons sharing. If the pact ever evolves into something that looks like nuclear protection for Riyadh, there could be calls for sanctions or international investigations. There are also moral and strategic questions. Will this pact truly make people safer, or will it only fuel an arms race? Will it prevent war, or will it encourage adversaries to prepare for bigger conflicts? Deterrence has worked in some regions of the world, but the Middle East is not Europe. It is a region full of proxy wars, non-state actors, sudden escalations, and fragile politics. Relying on nuclear deterrence here could be far riskier than anywhere else. For ordinary citizens in both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, this agreement is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it feels reassuring to know that the two countries are united in defense. On the other hand, people worry, what if this pulls us into wars that we never wanted? What if an attack on Riyadh drags Islamabad into a conflict with Israel? What if tensions with Iran suddenly turn into open confrontation? Yet, despite all these questions, there is no denying that this agreement is historic. It is not just a piece of paper. It is a declaration of intent, a signal to friends and foes alike that the Muslim world's strongest monarchy and the only Muslim nuclear power are standing together, shoulder to shoulder. For Saudi Arabia, it is about survival and security in a dangerous neighborhood. For Pakistan, it is about reclaiming influence, prestige, and economic support. For the region, it could mean either a new balance of power or the start of a dangerous new arms race. The world is watching closely. India is calculating its next steps. Iran is likely revising its strategies. Israel is on high alert. The United States and Europe are concerned, while China, already close to both Riyadh and Islamabad, may see new opportunities for influence. One thing is certain: this pact has changed the game. The Middle East and South Asia will not be the same after September 2025. Whether it leads to greater peace or greater danger, only time will tell.